Howdy, guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes, and welcome to a recap of night number 47 of Big Brother season 25. A good Monday morning to y'all. Hope everyone's ready for a new work week. The house guests certainly are. We've got a veto ceremony today. So, what's going to happen? Well, first of all, Jag won the veto on Saturday. Corey and America are on the block, but Jag has sworn up and down the veto will be used today to pull off either Corey or America. It sounds like it's going to be Corey right now. So Corey most likely is going to be pulled off the block, at which point Cameron's going to go onto the block. And I think Cameron's going home. I don't think America would go home against Cameron, but knowing this house, knowing this season, Pond certainly can go home. But yeah, I think it's looking like probably the end of the road for Cameron. And then we got double eviction next Thursday. All right. So Cameron, the ultimate target. We'll find out what happens with the veto ceremony today. But let's talk about what happened yesterday, last night. We certainly had some campaigning taking place, but to a large degree, a lot more conversation was about going forward and who are the targets going into next week. We know it's a double. They don't know yet, although there's certainly some that suspected. Although Corey, who is such an expert on so much in terms of being a Big Brother fan, says there's no way there's going to be a double this early. It's just way too early. Well, he's going to get a little surprised. All right, let's talk about the feeds themselves because we do have quite a few going on. All right, let's start with Jag and Blue and Jared. Jag is saying that he is definitely going to use a veto. He has asked America and Corey to decide between the two of them who they want him to use it on. He doesn't really care because he thinks there's almost it's clear that Cameron's going home, so who cares? So just tell me who you want me to use it on, and that's what I'll do. He's saying if you can't decide between the two of y'all, then at that point I'll probably go ahead and pull Corey off, since Corey is the one who picked me with his house guest choice to play in the veto. I have to have some kind of reason, and there you go. Later, Corey talks to Jag and says, yeah, we both would be happy getting pulled off, so we probably won't really decide. So, yeah, just go ahead and do it that way. Sure, Corey's fine with that. I don't think America is feeling horrible about staying up, other than you just don't want to be on the block. So it looks like, again, that Corey's going to be pulled off by Jag. All right. Little conversation between Felicia and Nicole. Remember, these two are pretty tight. They've got a final two with each other already. Felicia is talking about how disappointed she is that Jared and Cirie didn't have her back against Izzy. She is, over the last day or two, found out more and more that, yeah, she very much was the target until this flip occurred. She's been trying to figure out who was behind it, who was maybe her supporters, who wasn't. So she's talking about that a little bit with Nicole, and just, yeah, not real happy that Jared and Cirie apparently were fine with her heading out the door. She at one point says that Cirie is a mastermind in this house, that she just knows so much about what she's doing, her relationships, everything else. Felicia's recognizing Cirie is not her best friend in the house. She is saying that Cirie twists words and actions of others, and she's saying if Cirie does that to all these other people, why would she not be doing that to me as well? Bingo. There you go, Felicia. Yeah, because she certainly has said and done some things plotting against you, just like everyone else. So Felicia's getting a hold, figuring that out. All right, finally, Felicia is confirming that Jared had told her that, yes, the original plan was to vote out Felicia. So she knows how close she came to potentially not making it into that, staying another week in the house. All right, we've got Cameron in the HOH room. We had some campaigning, and I will give Cameron props. He's trying. It's just not going to work. But Cameron is campaigning in the HOH room too. I think it was Jared and Matt and Jag were up there. He's wanting Jag to leave the nominations as is. Sure. I'm sure he'd love to have that. He is promising that he will be their guy. He calls it a hitman and so on, like that, a mercenary. He says, yeah, I'll do whatever you need me to do to stick around. At one point, he proposes, I'm not going to say an alliance. He just says those of us in this room, he's talking about him and Matt and Jag and Jared, and then he mentions Blue as well, saying we could run this house. If y'all kept me, I can go after the people on the other side. Y'all know I can win things. I'll help take out people. We could be in the money if y'all would hold on to me. He also tells him, says, look, I just want another week and a half or 2 weeks in the house. He just wants to make it to jury so that he can get the jury money for his daughter. That's his goal right now. He says, I know my my expiration date, my shelf life in this house is very short. I'm not making it to the end. I just want to make jury so I can make that money for my daughter. So he's pleading with them with some emotional arguments as well. Not really working so well. After he leaves, they look at each other and say, well, he tried, he gave it an effort, A for effort and all of that. But their looks and their expression, they're not buying it. Cameron has not sold this group, and he really needed to. All right, we've got Matt and Jag and Blue talking a little bit more. Blue is saying that she believes what Corey said during the Thursday argument, and that she, and I take that back, because Jared was up in the room, so different conversation. But Matt and Jag and Blue, Blue saying that she believes what Corey said during Thursday's argument, that she found discrepancies between what Cirie was saying and what Jared was saying. I think among one of those, Cirie had told her that, yeah, for real alliance is a real alliance. And Jared had gone on and on earlier during that argument that, yeah, that wasn't, we never even met. It just wasn't anything at all. So Blue's recognizing that what the two of them are saying maybe aren't matching up completely. She's talking about the possibility with, again, Matt and Jag, the possibility of throwing this next HOH. Do they really need to have it? Let the other folks go after each other instead. They're talking about different scenarios. If this person won, who would they go after? But the end result is that they are seriously considering not trying hard for this HOH and having to more or less declare sides just yet in the game. They are saying that they have to be careful about what they say to Nicole, because it'll get back right back to Felicia, and they're still not completely on board with Felicia just yet. So they are being a little bit careful about their relationship with Nicole. Now, that'll change a little bit later. You'll hear a conversation between Jag and Nicole where he's trying to develop a little more trust with her. All right, we've got Corey and Jared talking at one point out in the backyard. They're trying to smooth things over after this argument on Thursday. Talking about, yeah, we get real passionate. We're just watching out, the things that people say. So they're trying to smooth things over. At one point, though, Jared says, Corey, I don't think you're coming after me next week. People have said that, but I don't think you're coming after me. And Corey says, no, I'm not coming after you. No, that was, we can work together going forward. He says, I am down to work with anybody, Jared. So don't think that I'm coming after you next. That was just one of those things. We had to get it out of the way, and we have. Yeah, don't be so certain of that, Jared. I think you're target number one. Well, you and Cirie, target number 1 and 2. If Corey was to get this HOH. But he's telling Jared, yeah, you don't have anything to worry about, Jared. Yeah, you can't compete in HOH, but not a problem. All right, we've got Corey and America talking. Corey's thinking that Felicia might be open to a big move against Jared. Yeah, you're not going after Jared at all. But no, he's telling America, saying, we may be able to get Felicia on board. She's starting to see the light about Cirie and Jared. Maybe we could get her on board and make something big happen next week, which is great. But it's a double eviction, which means if you don't have all these plans already set in place before you ever play on Thursday, you don't have a lot of time to do a lot of really fancy big moves. So we'll see how that works out. If they truly do start planning ahead before we get to Thursday. All right, house guests got alcohol. Very happy to have that. They're all out in the backyard celebrating a little bit. At one point, Jag has a glass of wine, a big glass of wine, and says, all right, whoever I don't use the veto on tomorrow gets this glass of wine. America immediately grabs it and chugs it. And Jag says, all right, well, see you on Thursday or something like that. So they all understand at this point in time that America is not getting the veto used on her. It's going to be on Corey, but they did get alcohol, so they enjoyed that. All right, we've got Corey and Felicia talking a little bit. Corey is explaining that Cirie's plan last week was to claim that they're going to have to vote against Alicia because that's what America and Corey were doing, and Cirie and them were just up against they didn't have a choice at that point in time because America and Corey had made the choice to get out Felicia over Izzy. But Corey's saying the reality, though, Felicia, is that myself and America were the only votes that you had. We were the ones staying strong, wanting to keep you, definitely getting Izzy out. But Cirie and Jared are trying to spin it the opposite direction. Felicia's talking again about how she's just not real happy that she got thrown under the bus last week. And she starts talking about a new alliance possibility. And maybe alliance is too strong a word, but certainly working more strongly with herself and Nicole, with no surprise there, and then America and Corey. So a group of 4, 2 and 2. We've got a few of those floating around the house right now. So yeah, she's suggesting that America and Corey and her and Nicole could maybe make something happen going forward. If she's thinking that, and Corey approaches her about a big move about against Cirie and Jared, she may be willing to look into it. We will find out. All right. So she mentions that as this new group. Corey not really committing. He's kind of hesitant and deflecting as much as he can. He never gives her an answer one way or the other, but it's certainly been put out there. All right, we've got Matt and Cirie in a fairly long talk on the hammock. Matt's giving a lot of information at this point. He's really kind of getting Cirie up to speed on some things. Matt is saying that he's revealing that Corey was the fourth person that had competed in the power of invincibility. Seems like forever ago. We knew it was Jag. We knew it was Cirie. We knew it was Matt. But he's telling Cirie, saying, yeah, Corey was the fourth person that the viewers picked. Matt is also telling her that Corey and America were trying to form a group with Jag and Blue. Again, another group of four here. But he tells Cirie that. So he mentions that. So she says, well, what about you? He says, well, not so much me, because these four think that I'll just follow along with whatever they do. And so, yeah, they didn't even really come to me with it. They just assume that I'll be on their side if these four form up. He is telling Cirie that America had told Cameron a lot of information while Cameron was HOH last week. We'd heard this before. Matt had questioned America, saying, why did you say anything to him? So Matt's a little peeved about that, and he's passing that information on to Cirie. Matt does tell Cirie, says, look, I'm not going to put you up as a pawn. I'm not putting you on the block. I trust you. I want to work with you going forward. I'm just not going to do that. At one point, he says, even if something happens and Jared goes home, he says, I'm still wanting to work with you. I'm still not going to put you up as a pawn. So you just have to trust me. And Cirie says, I trust you 1,000%, Matt. She says several times how much she trusts him. And I do believe both of them to a large degree with that conversation. Matt does say at one point that he really doesn't want Corey or America to win HOH. I'm not buying that quite so much. I think Matt would be fine with that particular HOH winner. But he's telling Cirie that. And again, I think it's a little bit of this whole game plan they've had for the past few days about Matt and Jag trying to distance themselves from Corey and America in the eyes of Jared and Cirie as much as they can. And maybe that's why Matt's having this whole conversation with Cirie in the first place. But he sure gave out a lot of information. All right. I think he's just riding the middle as much as he can. All right. We've got, so they talk a little bit more. Neither one of them really knows what Bowie or Nicole would do with an HOH. They're kind of the wild cards in the house right now. And they just don't know where they land, what they would do at all. All right. Another conversation. Just a quick little point on this one. We've got Jag and Corey talking. Jag is saying, look, if things go right, Cameron goes home, Cirie and Jared on the block next week. So yeah, does that mean 7 Deadly Sins is dead? Well, maybe not so much. They put Jag on the block while the alliance is still there. But yeah, Jag obviously is solidly on the other side of the house right now. At least saying to Corey, Jared and Cirie is who he'd love to see on the block next week. There's a good chance that could happen. We'll find out on Thursday. All right, we've got America and Felicia and Nicole and Corey talking. So again, these two duos talking to each other. Felicia is telling America that Jared had said that America was trying to get Felicia out last week. America's denying that, and Corey's saying, yeah, I can confirm that's not the case. Jared's just saying that, but it's not true. We were not trying to get you out last week, and hopefully you know that by now. They're all agreeing that Cameron is gone once this renomination is made today. And he goes onto the block, that his game is over. There's no way, the house is too solidified to get him out. Then let the games begin. All right, we've got Jared and Cirie checking in with each other at one point. Cirie is saying that she's scared because she's pretty sure that Corey and America are coming after Jared. And Jared says, yeah, I know they are. I have no doubt that they are. But he says, but I'm not worried about it because they don't win anything. They can say they're coming after me as much as they want, but they don't win. So whatever, it's an empty threat. So Jared feeling pretty comfortable. Yeah, I wouldn't feel comfortable at all knowing I can't compete in this next HOH, but he's saying he's okay with that. Cirie is saying that she wants to make sure she wins this next HOH to protect them because of that. Jared mentions that he really feels like maybe Corey is feeling really alone right now. that he doesn't feel like he belongs to either side. Again, back to that strategy of Matt and Jag trying to distance themselves from America and Corey. It seems to be working, at least in Jared's eyes, because he thinks Corey is alone right now. Sari says, yeah, I think Corey's just acting, and I think maybe something formed last week during the Izzy vote flip. And she's saying that she thinks that Corey probably is working, very well could be working with the other side, thinking it could be Corey and America and Jag and Matt, Felicia and Nicole, perhaps. And she said, even Bowie Jane. She's not too far off. You certainly have the rest of this house seeming to gel in different parts and pieces. So she's calling out. Jared doesn't think that's the case. Sari thinks it's entirely feasible. Sari has a better read on the house right now. All right, most of the house guests were outside with a lot of non-game talk with the assistance of the alcohol, talking about TV shows and some travel and all kinds of stuff. Corey and Sari start talking about Survivor. Corey made it clear that he knows a lot about Survivor. He knew seasons. He knew which alliance was who won which season, when they had final twos, when they had final threes. I feel like Corey's not doing himself any favors by making it so obvious that he is such a fan of reality TV. If I'm anyone else out there, that makes me a little bit nervous. But he's certainly talking to Sari and sharing all kinds of information about Survivor and his brother and all of that. All right, we've got Nicole and Jag and Felicia talking. They're talking about working together going forward. Again, Nicole and Felicia, yes, we know they're working together, but now they're trying to pull in Jag with this talk about working as a group. Jag is spending some time explaining what happened with the Izzy Felicia vote from last week, saying, yeah, he found out about that he found out that the plan was to vote out, I think, Felicia after the plan had already been decided, all that. He's emphasizing that he and Matt were always on Felicia's side, that they weren't the ones behind that plan at all. So he's just trying to go into a few more details as Felicia continues to try to hash that out. Eventually Felicia leaves, and we have more conversation between just Nicole and Jag. Jag's telling Nicole that there could be a big move to make next week, and I think he's referencing Jared and Sari. He's saying, we're at that point. We could do it. And he said, I've got your back if you've got mine, if we were to do something like that. Nicole's agreeing, says, yeah, I would probably be willing to look into something like that. And yeah, I would have your back as well. So they never called it an alliance during this discussion that I heard. But I feel like these two are right on the edge of agreeing that they're going to be a duo, or at least part of a group that they want to work together. Jag is saying that America and Corey are also on board for a big move. He's not sure about the rest of the house, but certainly those two. And if Nicole is and he is, that's 4 people that maybe could make something happen next week. Nicole is saying that as far as Jared and Sari, they're kind of interchangeable to her. That she sees them as both threats and they're interchangeable. Whichever one goes, she's okay with. So she's at least talking to Jag, saying that she's on board if they maybe win after one of them. There's talk amongst them about being in very similar situations. Nicole didn't know about the 7 deadly sins. Jag didn't know about the for real alliances that they each belong to, didn't know about the other person's alliance. The commonality of Sari and Jared and Felicia and Izzy in both of those. They also are complaining about that they were both loyal to their alliance. They didn't do anything not to be loyal to that alliance, and yet they both got burned. They both, it turns out, were kind of being targeted within that by people within that alliance. So they're feeling like they both have been kept in the dark and kind of experienced a similar situation so far in the house. So common bonds makes it that much easier to work together. Jag, they're talking about who they want to work with going forward. Jag is saying that he feels closest to Matt, that he trusts Corey and America also. That's a little bit newer, but he thinks he can trust them also. And he tells Nicole, he says, I want to trust you moving forward as well, and I think I can. And then he also mentions that he trusts Blue, but just because of her proximity to Jared, makes him a little nervous, a little gun shy as well. So he's kind of laying out who he would like to work with, who he trusts in this game. Nicole is saying really the only person that she feels close to right now is Felicia, that she hadn't been in a lot of alliances, that she hadn't worked with a lot of people. Nicole and Felicia Felicia's the only one that she's really comfortable with. They both are talking about Bowie Jane, that they're a little hesitant to work with her. They both agree they think Bowie Jane was maybe the link to Felicia, that how the word got back to Felicia about the votes flipping and Felicia maybe being in trouble, and all of that happened. They think Bowie was the one who gave a lot of that information to Felicia. So they're a little bit worried that Bowie may not be able to keep a secret, that she's trying to play all ends a little too hard. So maybe they aren't going to reveal a lot of information to her. And what else? That's about it. That conversation, maybe it's the alcohol, maybe it's just the knowing there's no competition taking place today. But I think they were up till 4 o'clock or so before they shut it down. So it turned into a fairly long evening. They had the backyard. Between the backyard and alcohol, yeah, they're enjoying it as long as they can, as much as they can. So there you have it. Everyone in bed by 4 o'clock, 4:30 or so, Big Brother time. 6:30 Houston time. So they called it a night. So in summary, the veto's going to be used. Corey's going to get pulled off the block. Cameron's going to go on the block. It'll be Cameron versus America next week, next Thursday. I think it'll be a unanimous vote. I'm trying to think, would anyone vote for Cameron? Unless someone wants to throw a hinky vote in there, which is a possibility. But Cameron should be going home. And then let the fireworks begin, because we'll have a double eviction. Someone else is going to be following Cameron right outside the door as well. Not to jury house, as we find out, heading home instead, or heading to interviews with Julie. And then we should make jury probably get the announcement as soon as that second person walks out the door. So there you have it. We'll see what happens to the veto ceremony. Anything weird changes, I'll certainly be here tomorrow morning to let y'all know. Also, just as a reminder, tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central, Cliff Notes Live. On this same YouTube channel, we'll be talking all Big Brother, opinions, thoughts, who's going after who's competing for HOH even next week. So we'll talk about it all. Bring your questions, your comments, opinions, because I love to talk Big Brother. I love to talk about it with you. Guys, y'all have a fantastic Monday. Until tonight or tomorrow morning, SKD 143. Cheers, my friends. Bye.